Today, we're gonna see if we can double our makeup wear time. I'm going to test all sorts of different primers and see if they really make a difference. We have a face primer, we have eyeshadow primer, we have eyebrow primer, mascara primer, and a lip primer. Let's do it. For the face, we have the Tula Skincare. This is their face filter, blurring and moisturizing primer. This retails for $34 for the 1 fluid ounce. Instantly smooths the look of uneven tone for a filter-like effect. It has probiotics and superfoods like licorice and chia seeds to help improve the look of skin tone over time, which is, I think, awesome. You need 2 to 3 pumps to cover your face, and then you massage thoroughly to release special encapsulated skin blurring pigments. I'm just gonna do 1 pump since we're only doing half of the face. So the primer side is going to be the left side. The right side is gonna be no primer, because we really want to see, is primer going to make a difference? Is it going to extend the wear time? Is it going to help creasing? Is it going to help smudging? Is it going to help flaking? All of those sorts of things. That's what that looks like. Has kind of like a light pink tone. You can see that right away. Creates a tint. I might need a little bit more than 1 pump, but I feel like it definitely blurred certain areas. Did it do more than that? I'm not sure. As soon as it starts making contact with your skin and your fingers, it starts, that encapsulation bursts and it creates a tint. But you can see a difference right away that the skin looks very blurred. It didn't create a super even skin tone or anything like that. It just kind of blurred the skin. Okay, so for the foundation, I'm going to use my Tom Ford. This is the Traceless Soft Matte Foundation. I'm in shade 1.3 Nude Ivory. And to apply it, I found that I really enjoyed the Bobbi Brown, her full face foundation coverage. We're gonna start first with the non-primer side and then move our way to the primer side. I find that with this foundation, sometimes if I have dry spots, it can cling to it, but otherwise it's a very beautiful foundation. It's blending pretty easy with the primer, but without the primer, I feel like the foundation had a little bit more slip. Yeah, with the primer, it looks a little heavier. I'm just looking from cheek to cheek, and I think this has a little bit more coverage, but it doesn't look as natural versus this side. It looks a little bit more natural. And I did use a little bit less product with the primer side, and it looks a little bit heavier. For the eyebrows, this is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This is her brow primer, and this is basically a pencil that has wax in it, and you groom it over your clean eyebrows. You create the shape that you want, and then you go in and fill certain areas. I just literally draw this through my brows just to deposit that colorless wax onto my hairs. And then taking any spoolie, I just brush that through, and you can see it kind of helps create that shape. But the brows are still very malleable. You can still move them in certain directions. Like this, I feel like I still have to create my shape, versus this, it gave me like a nice rough shape. That way I can fill it in. I am going to fill this one in first, just because I want to make sure I'm not going to get any wax on it. I find that when I do the 3 steps, first creating the shape with some kind of wax or that brow freeze from her, and then going with the powder or the color formula, like the pencil, and then with the clear brow gel on top, I find that my brows last all day long, and it does such a better job, and it's so much faster. All right, brows are on, let's move on to eyeshadow. For the primer, we're going to use the NARS. This is their smudge-proof eyeshadow base. This retails for $26. Again, I do enjoy a nice eyeshadow primer. I think it can help the longevity, it can help with the creasing, the transferring, and of course, that pigment, it can really intensify the pigment depending what kind of eyeshadow base you use. Something like the P. Louise base is really nice for this. Something like a concealer even is really good. Just using a little bit, and this right here is colorless. It's white, but once you blend it into your eyelid, like you see, there's nothing there. I feel like it does smooth the eyelid out, and I'm just gonna bring it down to the lower lash line, and I find that it kind of blurs the eyelid as well. For eyeshadow, I haven't used this palette in so long. It's one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. This is by Tarte. This is the Tartelette in Bloom eyeshadow palette. First going without the primer, and you can see already a pretty big difference with primer and without primer. Yeah, I feel like with the primer already, the eyeshadow grips to the primer and there's a lot more color payoff. It's a little bit more precise. And I find that also blends quite nice as well. Concealer, Ulta Beauty. Still one of my favorite concealers ever. I'm using the Real Techniques. This is Soft Accent Brush. For mascara primer, we have the Lancome, their Booster XL Super Enhancing Mascara Primer, retailing for $27. This one has crazy good reviews. So what it does, it's a nourishing eyelash primer that maximizes mascara results for major lash lift and the appearance of longer, thicker, and more volumized lashes. You guys know my love for mascara primers. One of my favorites is by Marc Jacobs, but I really want to test this one out since I will be using the Lancome Idil mascara. This one is a really great mascara. So I'm gonna apply the mascara primer first to my left eye because I want it to get a little bit tacky and get a little bit of hold. And this is a white mascara primer. It's definitely quite wet since it is a newer formula, but I like to coat most of my lashes and go over the tips as well. So that way the mascara attaches to the tips. This will help to get that longer looking lash effect. So let it get tacky in my lashes and then go in with the mascara on my right eye without any primer. I tried to apply a very similar amount of mascara, and you can see with the left eye, it looks like my lashes are thicker, they're a little bit longer, just because that primer, it really coats the lashes, and that mascara has something to coat onto and really build up that volume a lot quicker without having to apply several different layers and coats of mascara. So you can see definitely there's a little bit more of volume, thickness, length happening with my left side versus the right side. I'm gonna apply a tiny bit more mascara to my right eye to get somewhat similar. For bronzer, I'm using my Huda Beauty Tantour in Fair and her brush. This is her Face Sculpt and Shade Brush. For blush, I'll be using the Nudies, the Nude Sticks. This is their Nudies in the Nude. Beautiful color, love this shade. I find that both sides applied really even. One more side doesn't have more color payoff. I think the real test is going to be during the day and at the end of the night, which side still has a lot more pigment and it's still very visible. Okay, let's move on to the lips. For a lip primer, this is by MAC. This is their Prep and Prime Lip Base. I've actually never used this product, and this retails for $19. It adds light moisture, smooths and refines the lips, improves the appearance of applied lip products. So what they're saying is apply a thin coating over entire lip area and over lip edges, follow with lip color if desired, line lips. So because we're gonna do half and half, I'm going to line half of my side first, fill it in with the lipstick, and then we'll do this side. So we're gonna use Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk lip liner, beautiful lip liner. For lipstick, I'm gonna use her Hot Lipstick 2. This is called Dance Floor Princess. Then this side, we're just going to line the lips. As of right now, it feels like a really waxy, balmy lip balm, but really thick. Very smooth too. Feels like a primer for your lips. Yeah, you can see right away how it is softened and kind of blurred the lip, on this side at least. I'm finding that it's not depositing the color as well on top of this primer. I think just because it's so waxy and balmy, I have to kind of build up a little bit more. I mean, you can definitely see it right now. It's definitely a lot more comfortable to draw onto the lips itself, but drawing around, like creating that lip line, it's a little bit harder, but filling in, it's really nice. Okay, makeup is on, and as of right now, everything looks very similar. If you're looking kind of from far away or even close up, but once you get really close up to my face, you can start seeing already some slight differences. For example, with the face primer, right here, smile lines, they're already cracking on the primer side. On this side, they still look very smooth. They don't look crackly. They're not moving around. They just look kind of like with the face. And then the one other thing is I'm noticing even when I'm talking, the lip primer, I can feel it more and it's kind of sticky. I don't know, you can see like this left side is sticking more than the right side. It doesn't feel as heavy on the lips. So I'm not sure if I'm enjoying the lip primer as of right now, but it definitely feels stickier and it feels a lot heavier on the lips. The only other difference I do see for the eyes, I feel like it blended a little bit better with the primer and there's a little bit more color payoff versus this side. I felt like I had to do a little bit more product to get the same color payoff to match the left side. Same with the mascara. But the only other thing I don't see a difference is with the brows, because I kind of try to create the same shape. The only difference for me personally was how fast and how little product I had to use on the left side with the primer. But right now I'm really excited that everything looks really good. It looks very similar. There's no crazy drastic differences. I'm really excited to see how this is going to wear throughout the day and see if one side looks better or a certain product just blew the other product out of the water. All right, I'll see you guys throughout the day and at the very end of the night. Doing the first update, and there's actually some differences already. The first thing is I want to say I'm looking a little extra shiny, and I think my pores look a little more exaggerated with the primer side, and it feels really heavy right here on the smile lines, versus this side actually feels quite nice, and this side feels a little sticky with that primer, and I feel like a lot of the product is kind of transferring off. And then the other thing is the eyeshadow. The eyeshadow side with the primer, it's looking really good still, and then this side you can see it's starting to crease and transfer. At least that eyeliner, the eyeshadow eyeliner is starting to transfer into my crease, which is really interesting. And the lips, we had a little bit of lunch. I had half avocado toast with Andre, and lipstick is honestly still there. It's feeling a little bit better. It doesn't feel as heavy, but I feel like it's looking pretty even the way it's wearing off, which is really good. But yeah, the biggest thing is that face primer. It's feeling a little heavy and it feels like it's kind of just smearing on the face, but at least the cheeks are still there, quite pronounced. The blush and the bronzer is still visible, which is really good. But eyebrows still look pretty great. Mascara looks bomb. I'm not seeing anything different from one side to the other, but we'll see at the very end of the night. Last and final update for the primers. In the mirror, I think I look pretty even on both sides when I'm looking just straight at myself. When I'm looking down and I close my eyes, you can see a huge difference with the eyeshadow primer, non-with. So eyeshadow primer does make a difference for me personally. I see a huge difference. That's why I do like to use some kind of concealer, eyeshadow primer, some kind of eyeshadow base. To me personally, it does make a huge difference. Like on this eye, you can still see the eyeliner is still really opaque. The eyeshadow is not creasing. It's still pretty smooth even though both sides, they have very deep creases and I have hooded eyes. But I'm really happy that I could actually see a huge difference. With the eyebrows, I feel like they still look pretty similar. The next thing I don't really see a difference, extra difference, like longevity, is the face primer. If anything, it still kind of feels a little heavier, like I was mentioning with the first update. The foundation has cracked quite a bit more with the primer side versus no primer. This side still looks really even, very smooth, a little bit cracked, but very minute in comparison, very minimal in comparison to the primer side. In the mirror, I can't really tell which side has more bronzer / contour or blush. I feel like I can still see blush on this side and I still see blush on this side, but I still feel like I see a little bit more blush and bronzer like right here. I'm not sure. These lights are kind of playing with my eyes. But lip wise, I honestly don't know how I feel about this product. It doesn't add longevity. After the first update, the lips looked very similar. If anything, this side was a little bit more uncomfortable in the beginning because there was extra product on my lip. It felt heavier, it felt stickier. It just wasn't as comfortable of a formula to wear. I would just prefer like a regular lip balm or like a lip mask underneath. So I'm not sure how I feel about this product. Like I said, it didn't really add anything to my lips. If anything, it did smooth a little bit, kind of filled in those cracks. So overall, I think primer does make a difference in certain parts of your face, like the eyeshadow primer. But for me personally, face primers all over the face don't work. I feel like it exaggerates it even more personally on my face because there's more product sitting on top of those lines and kind of just wants to crack as the day goes on. But for some reason, my eyeshadow primer always makes a really big difference for me. It really extends the wear time of my eyeshadows, my eyeliner, different kind of eyeshadow products like cream, powder formulas. So I do personally enjoy an eyeshadow base or an eyeshadow primer. In regards to the mascara primer, I personally don't see that it has longevity properties. If anything, it gives me sometimes longer, a lot of times thicker lashes, more voluminized lashes, especially towards the base. And I don't need to use as much mascara as without a primer, but it does work in my opinion. All right, I'm gonna leave it there, you guys. Please share some of your favorite primers that you use on a daily or a weekly basis, some of your favorite face primers, how to use them, what products to use them with, some favorite eyeshadow primers, things like that. But for now, thank you for watching, spending time with me, and I'll see you next one very soon. Bye.